Buenos dias, soy Scott con Water Arts. Welcome to my episode today. We got some great content. Hope you guys find it useful. So I'm going to be going over the 5 tenets, the 5 principles that we can use to help raise our vibration. And when we raise our vibration using these tenets, we can also help raise the vibration of the collective. We can help raise the vibration of other people. And so one of the first tenets I want to talk about is courtesy. And courtesy, there's 2 kinds that I like to talk about. There's courtesy that we can use in our everyday lives, which would include driving. When we're driving, driving courtesy, very important that we are courteous drivers, because many times I've seen where it's real easy to get caught up in the stress of everyday living, and when you're not a courteous driver, you see things like road rage, crashes, people waving guns at each other. So it's very important that as a driver, we're courteous. So allowing people to merge into traffic, slowing down, stopping for pedestrians, that's very important. And then courtesy of course, social media courtesy. I like to talk about online courtesy. And it can be as simple as giving a thumbs up, a like. If something doesn't resonate with you online, it's okay to give constructive feedback, but to provide a comment that is not beneficial for anyone, that isn't courtesy. And if you're trying to directly attack someone through your comment, that will definitely lower your vibration. That will lower your vibration. So courtesy online, courtesy with social media, courtesy driving, and then of course courtesy just, walking about with, interacting with people throughout your day. It could be simple as just, waving, nodding your head, opening a door for someone, something as simple as that. So you don't have to make courtesy too complicated. It's really simple. Giving them a smile. The courtesy of a smile does wonders to help raise our vibration and then other people's vibration. The second tenet is integrity. Integrity. And that aligns very closely with honesty. Many times it's easy to talk about your principles and what your beliefs are, but we have to make sure that your actions match up with that. Make sure that your actions match up with who you say you are. What are you doing? Are you a light worker? Are you a healing artist? Do you empower other people? Easy to say those things online, but then to actually do it, a little bit harder. The third tenet, the third principle, perseverance. I love talking about perseverance because that is something that takes time to develop. You have to be patient with perseverance. Perseverance is important because the goals that we have in life many times, they don't happen right away. It's real easy to want immediate gratification. Yeah, I have a goal, I want to accomplish it now. Perseverance gives us the ability to work on it over time. And some of the goals that we have, raising your vibration, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not, it may take months, it may take a couple years to do that, but you have to persevere. Persevere, very important. I'll give you an example of perseverance in my life. When I was studying martial arts, Taekwondo, I remember I wanted to be the best right away, so I practiced really hard and did a couple tournaments, did pretty good. And then I went to a national tournament, a huge US national tournament, and I got my butt kicked. I lost 14-0. And I was actually proud though. I was proud. It was my first national championship. I used that as motivation to continue my training. I persevered through that loss, through getting beat 14-0, and eventually went on to become a 2-time US national champion. That is perseverance. The fourth tenet, the fourth principle, self-control. Self-control. I am very, this is hard for me sometimes. Self-control is a bit tough because I can easily be pulled into different directions, and many times I have to look at myself and say, Scott, slow down, you can't do this right now. You're not ready for it. Control your thoughts, control your actions a little bit better, and eventually you'll find that when you slow down your thoughts, slow down your actions, that allows you to process, is this a good thing for me? Is this a good thing for other people? So with self-control, you don't want to influence other people in a negative way. And self-control definitely is one of my tougher principles to access. So it's a constant work in progress. These principles, you don't just all of a sudden attain them and then they're with you for life. It's a process. We have to continually work on these principles and throughout your life. So self-control, very important, still working on it. And with self-control, if you slow down your thoughts, slow down your actions, you'll find that self-control becomes more clear. It becomes more clear. The last tenet, the last principle I want to talk about is Indomitable Spirit. Indomitable Spirit. This one is huge. Yes, Indomitable Spirit. What that means is we first have to believe that we have a spirit. And when we're ascending from the third dimension into the fourth dimension, we have to recognize that there's things that are out there that we can't see. So we have to trust. So even though you can't see your spirit, you can feel it. It's there. So Indomitable Spirit, a good example of that is in the early 1900s, Put yourself in China for a minute. Let's go to China, okay? Early 1900s, we're in China. We're a Shaolin monk. We're a Shaolin monk, and we're training in martial arts, and we're trying to raise our vibration through training the body, connecting it with the mind, and then feeding the spirit. And unfortunately, there were some revolutions that were going on in China, and they didn't want people practicing martial arts anymore. And I don't know, it might have been because there was too much violence. Maybe there was a lot of unrest. Maybe there was warring going on. So what happened was the Chinese government destroyed a bunch of Shaolin temples, basically told them you can't practice martial arts anymore. And that's tough because martial arts, when you start training it, well, whether it's martial arts or healing arts, when you start to train it, it becomes a really big part of you. It becomes a huge part of you. And then all of a sudden you're told you can't do it anymore. And for some of the monks, they put them in jail. If they didn't kill them, they put them in jail. And that's tough, being in a small, enclosed area. And one of the ways that Tai Chi evolved was through these monks who were martial artists. They got put in jail, they got put in these small cells and told that you can't practice martial arts anymore. So they started to develop Tai Chi, and they allowed them to do the Tai Chi because it looked like a dance. When you look at Tai Chi, you think, you know, here's these slow movements. There's no danger with them. It doesn't look harmful. It's very peaceful. So a lot of Tai Chi principles got developed while these monks, these Shaolin monks, were in jail, put in a small cell. They couldn't do their martial arts anymore, so they started training Tai Chi. They probably connected Wu Ji principles along with Qigong, breathing exercises. Maybe they did some stretching, some yoga. But being in that cell, they didn't, even though they got their martial arts taken away, they got put in jail, they didn't let that affect their spirit. They didn't let that affect their spirit. That's Indomitable Spirit. There's situations that are outside of our control, and we can't let that affect our spirit. And how do we relate that today? Well, with the isolation, the quarantine. We're almost trapped in a cell, like these Shaolin monks. It feels like we're trapped in a cell. And I'm lucky enough that I get to go out in nature. But some people who live in cities where there's not readily areas that are spacious, they probably feel like they're locked inside of a cell. They're isolated. So don't let that affect your spirit. Do the arts, train the arts, and you'll find that you'll raise your vibration. By raising your vibration, you're going to help raise the vibration of other people. So again, these 5 tenets, these 5 principles to help raise our vibration: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. And I actually learned these are Taekwondo tenets. These are martial art tenets. But we can apply those to everyday life, apply those to ourselves, help raise the vibration of other people. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Sorry if the sun was blinding you a little bit. But hopefully comment below some of the things, some of the tenets, some of your principles that you find helpful to elevate your vibration, raise your consciousness. Comment those below. I'm Scott Krueger with Way of Water Arts. 안녕하세요.